Right, so I'm making this video in response to 911's video on YouTube claiming the protocols of the Elders of Zion are true and proven facts. 911 responded to my comments on his video saying that he wanted to see my lying face, and he also said, how can you talk about history before I was born? Well mate, I'm just going to say, it was before you were born as well. 911 in his video makes a few base stipulations that I'm going to talk about in this video. And these are just a few stipulations that he made, but these were the ones that he based it on. I don't feel I need to attack any of his other claims. Firstly, he claims the protocols are real. The protocols are supposedly original document. It was proven in a Russian court later, that 60% of it had matched a book by Maurice Joly, a Frenchman, titled Dialogues in Hell Between Machiavelli and Montesquieu, about Napoleon III and his use of certain devices such as bank loans to assert his power and to assure his domination. These protocols, for those who don't know, assert a Jewish plot for world domination, though 911 suggests it's something different, and I'll talk about that later. 911 suggests that this is ridiculous because these clearly are in power today, and I will also talk about that later. And I ask, back, if Jews were in control, which you state they are, why is there still anti-Semitism? Why are there still anti-Semitic people out there attacking Jews, attacking the state of Israel? Why, if they're so good at world domination and no one but yourself has noticed, why are people still being attacked? And it's not that they realize the truth, because regardless if they realize the truth, if there was the truth, and these people had control, why aren't these people then silenced? Literally. Why are people like yourself allowed to roam the streets freely? Scrap that. Why are people like you allowed to roam the streets even if Jews aren't in control? Secondly, 911 claims that the books aren't actually about Jews, they're about bad Jews. Bad Jews known as Zionists, or people who support a Jewish state in the Jewish homeland in the state of Israel, or Israel. When it was published, now let me get this straight. The Protocols of Zion were published in 1895. That was the date that you had on your sheet. I read it incorrectly the first time, but 1895. I think we should both agree on that, if you want it. That's supposedly the second, but that is the first collection that is generally recognized as the Protocols of Zion. Zionism was invented by Theodor Herzl in his book Judenstaat after the Dreyfus Affair, and I'm not going to the Dreyfus Affair, there's no point. But Theodor Herzl wrote of the need for a Jewish state because of certain anti-Semitic events in Europe, and that Jews needed a homeland for protection. Jews didn't want to go to Palestine, as it was this was when it was Ottoman Empire. Before Ottoman Empire wasn't even a British mandate then. Jews didn't want to go to Palestine. They were happy in their homes, roughly. Zionism really picked off as a political ideology in the early 20th century, when Jewish, anti-Semitism and anti-Jewish sentiment was really being felt, and that led up to the Nazis and the Holocaust and other anti-Semitic ideologies at the time. And this is when Jewish persecution really came to a head, and that's where Zionism started picking up success. Theodor Herzl sort of outlined and created Zionism in his book Judenstaat, which was published in 1895. So the Protocols of Zion were talking about something that you claim is Zionism before Zionism even exists. I think this point is the one that you might have been referring to when you said, how can you talk about history before you were born? It's not me talking about history, it's history talking about me. So how can I be blamed for something that happened before I was born? That doesn't make sense. I hope you'd agree with me there, that you can't be blamed for things that happened before you were born. I'd like to see your alternate universe where this is possible, but I'll leave it at that. Thirdly, you state that protocols are clearly seen in today's society through breakdowns of education systems, Jewish control of the banks, all these historians talking about the Jewish problem. The Zionist problem. And I'd like to refer to a different conspiracy theory for a second, and that's the blood libel. For those who don't know, the blood libel is a tale about how Jews used to kidnap a Christian, often believed to be around Easter, harvest his blood, and crucify him just like they did Jesus Christ from the stories that I've read, and this is through research. Cases came out, there was evidence, there were witnesses who saw Jews kidnap the people, highly anti-Semitic, and later it was revealed that it wasn't Jews, that the evidence was forged, and the witnesses were highly anti-Semitic as well, and it turned out to be someone else, and it was a huge misunderstanding. It didn't stop them from being anti-Semitic. And that relates back to saying that if you look anywhere, you'll find it. Not all banks are owned by Jews. Not all even good banks are owned by Jews. Jews don't own the media. There are several different media outlets. Some of them not owned by Jews, not controlled by Jews. Hollywood isn't overrun with Jews. If it was, why the hell would Mel Gibson's movie be produced? It's not people that know the truth, it's people that are stupid. People that think they know the truth, who will look anywhere to find proof of some kind that the Jews are trying to take over the world. And on my last note, I'm going to address you 911 hello personally. Firstly, quit talking about anti-Zionism. You're not an anti-Zionist, you're an anti-Semite. And there's no point of you trying to push off your anti-Semitism as anti-Zionism, because then it's more acceptable. It's high time you really face that reality. Secondly, even if you were anti-Zionist, there are several different streams of Zionism, which perhaps you don't understand. There are several different streams of Judaism. There is not one single form of Judaism or Zionism which talks about world domination. There may be minority streams, minority cults, minority fringe groups that talk about such and such, but they are as much as a threat to Jews, and they are as much as a threat and off the cuff as white, sort of Hindu world domination movements. They are so on the cusps, and they are so on the fringe of Jewish and Zionist society that they are pushed even further away. And that is the truth. And I think further on from this is that there are several different ones, and most of them reject a tale of world domination. And these people distort the texts in the same way that people looking for this world domination aspect look. They are distorting the text in the same way, so of course you're going to find those. But it doesn't mean those are accepted, and it doesn't make them true. And that's where I'm going to end.